so in your calculator, or you can look at the paper I just gave you, but I think you should practice the calculator method. We're going to go to y equals. I need two numbers that multiply to give me what again?
7.
7. I'm going to delete everything else. Positive 7. Delete. We do second graph. And they have to add to give me 8, right? Hmm?
So what was the second one?
The second what?
The second y.
It's the same number. So whatever we're trying to multiply to get, we use that same number twice.
Right.
So you should have positive 7 divided by x, and then you should have 7 divided by x plus x. That y2 is what's going to tell us what we'll add to give us the number. You got it, David?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. So we hit second graph, we look at it, I know my factor is going to be what?
1, 7.
1 and 7. So I need to add to get 8. So my factors are 1 and 7, and I can just plug that in to my factors. X plus 1, x plus 7. Does it make sense how we're using the calculator to find our factors and then plug them in? Okay. It's going to pick up a little bit. Okay, so for 3 through 6, we're just going to find new factors. Okay? I'll do the first two with you, then you do the last two by yourselves. We are not going to fully factor this yet. We're going to do that once we get down here. Do you guys notice how on some of these problems it's just x squared? Right? And then some of them, there's a number in front of them. This x squared is basically like 1x squared, but we don't have to write our 1 in there. If you see that there's a number bigger than 1 in front of your x squared, like number 3, we call this the swing method. We have to first swing it. So this 4 is going to swing to the very back. Just draw that on your paper. I'm still going to be in my AM method, but now I need two numbers that multiply to give me, I'm not going to write down 3, because I had to swing this 4. Once we swing it, yes, we multiply. So 4 times 3? 12, and my number in the middle stays the same. I need two numbers to add to give me what? 8. You guys see where that 12 came from?
Yes.
We just had to swing that 12 to the back. So now you can use your calculator or you can look at your yellow sheet, whatever is easier. I need two numbers that multiply to give me 12 and that adds to give me positive 8. Two and 6, someone confirm that. Is that true? Did everyone get 2 and 6? Both positive? Good. Okay, you can also look at that yellow sheet, and for number 12,
Federal impact.
oh, I thought that email, I was just thinking, who's going to go in there next?
Yep.
Thank you. All right, look at number 4. I don't like that 5, okay? I'm going to have to swing that 5 to my 1. I'm still in my AM method. So this time, this 5 is going to be multiplied to 1. So I need two numbers that multiply to give me what? Huh? 5. That's 5 times 1. That's what I just swung. And then I need two numbers that add to give me what? What kind of 6? Negative 6. Be careful with that. All right, use your calculator for this one. If you have all positives, I say just look at your yellow sheet. If you have a negative, I think maybe just using your calculator is a little bit easier. So I'm going to do it on the board. Make sure we get the same answers. So I have, what was it, positive 5, right? That blue multiply. So 5 divided by x, and then 5 divided by x plus x. And then when I hit second graph, I need to get negative 6 for my last answer, right?
-5.
So -1, -5. You guys agree with that?
Wait.
Did you type in +5 divided by x? If you're not understanding how you got this number, you need to ask. Which part's confusing?
Wait, I didn't get the 96. This is error.
I got negative
Did you
5
scroll up?
and -1.
Huh?
I got negative 5 and -1.
That's the same thing we just got. Everyone have -1, -5?
Yeah.
Because you have to add to get -6. So what you're doing is you're confirming that whatever number we need to add is in that last column. Did you get it, Michelle?
No, this is an error. Oh, I see.
Alright, so what we're doing so far, it doesn't matter what order you put them in, all we're doing is we're just finding factors. Okay, we're not actually doing anything else. We're not making it into a factor, we're just finding the factorable numbers. You guys do 5 and 6. Alright, so what do you guys get for number 5? You need two numbers that multiply to give us what? -6. Make sure you do -3 times 2, which gives us -6. And that adds to give me +1. Guys, make sure when you do your T-chart, try to get off your phone, that you're doing it just like I'm doing it. Because if you look at this later, you may be confused on which side is multiplying, which side is adding. Okay? So you can either write an M for multiplying and an A for adding, or just make your sentence. Alright, what did you guys get for your factors? -2, +3? Good. Alright, what about number 6? We needed two numbers that multiply to give us what? Huh? 2 times -21, which is? 42. You guys type this in? Alright, -21 times 2, we get -42. And if we're adding, I need to get what? 41. You see that, husband? Okay, because if you mix those numbers up, your answer's going to be wrong. Alright, so what did you guys get for your factors? What'd you get? -1 and 42? Yes, that is correct. Okay. Okay, stay quiet. Well, okay, I can hear them from here. I'll step in. Alright, are we okay with these few problems? Alright. I have a number bigger than 1, that's in front, so I need two numbers that multiply to give me what? 15, and that adds to give me -8. Did you guys get some factors for that?
I got -3 and -5.
-3, -5. You guys agree? Alright. So now we're going to actually factor this problem, okay? We're not just going to stop there. This is called factoring by grouping, okay? Because this number here is bigger than 1, I can't just do my little shortcut that we've already learned, where I can just make it x minus 3, x minus 5. That's not going to work. So, I want you guys to write what I'm writing. When we're grouping, we swing my first number to the back, right? Once we get our factors, we're basically just swinging it back. Okay, so let's pretend that 3 is back up front. Okay, here's what we do. Once we swing it back, I'm going to rewrite 3x squared, because now it's back in the front. I'm also going to bring down my last number back here. Just bring down +5. All right, in the middle, I'm putting these factors with this term. Okay, instead of writing -8, I'm writing these two factors, which basically give me -8. So I have negative 3x and then negative 5x. That's where our factors come into play. Joanna, you write this down. You're not going to understand how to do this whatsoever if you don't follow every step. Does everyone have this 4 piece right here? Okay? This part is the grouping part. Once you have 4 pieces, we're going to divide them right down the middle. So I'm going to go right down the middle between negative 3x and negative 5x. All right, let's look at the left side first. We're looking for our GCF. What is the GCF of the left side? You understand what I'm asking you guys? The GCF, you have 3 and you have 3. So what's your greatest common factor there? 3. All right, then you have x squared and you have x to the first. Which one is smaller? X to the first. So that is your GCF. All we're doing is we're going to divide by the GCF. Once we divide by our GCF, let's just go ahead and write the GCF again and make parentheses so we can divide. What's 3x squared divided by 3x? 1 what? Because my 3's disappeared, right? X squared, which is basically 2x's divided by x, how many x's are left over? 1. So we have 1x. What about negative 3x divided by 3x? What's negative 3 divided by positive 3? Negative 1. What happens to my x's? They cancel out. All right, the left side is done. Let's look at the right side. Here's the tricky part. Whenever the left or right side start with a negative, you automatically bring that negative out into your GCF. So that negative 5 tells me that negative has to come out. What is the GCF between 5 and 5? It's 5. Do I have a GCF with my letters of x? No, because the second 5 here does not have an x. So therefore I can't use it. So I'm going to rewrite my GCF. Thank you. You're welcome. They were quiet. All right, and then I'm left to divide. What's negative 5x divided by negative 5? Just x. That's all we're left with. What about positive 5 divided by negative 5? Negative 1. Here's the part that you want to check. When we solve by grouping, you want to see if your parentheses are matching. Are they matching here? Because your parentheses are matching, that becomes part of your final answer. Okay, that's how I know I've done it right. If I get to that point, they're both matching, I'm good. My second factor is going to come from both of my GCFs. So my second factor is 3x minus 5. I chose the 3x for this GCF, the negative 5 for that GCF. This is my answer. Factoring by grouping is a little bit longer and is a little bit more difficult. But once you know how to, you break it up into 4. Sorry, you swing it back. You insert your new factors. You divide by the GCF on each side. Your matching parentheses become a factor, and your GCFs become a factor. All right, go ahead and turn the page. We're not going to do all of these together because we don't have the time. We will do a good bit. All right, look at number 2. We have 3x squared plus 7x plus 4. I need to swing. What needs to get swung here? Your 3 gets swung to the back, right? So I need two numbers that I'll multiply to give me what?
12.
Positive 12, and that adds to give me 7. I will look at your yellow sheet for this. This one should be an easy look. Find where it says 12. See what numbers could possibly give us 7 if you add them together. We're going to find the factors. 3 and 4. If you wait for the answer, you're never going to know how to do it on your own. Alright, so my factors are 3 and 4. Now that I've swung it to get my factors, I'm going to swing it back. So this guy comes down, my first comes down, my last comes down. I'm actually going to write a little bit smaller. What do I put in the middle? Three and 4, but I need the same term. So 3x, and what else? Positive 4x. Good. Now that I have 4 terms, I need to split them. Where do I split these up at?
In the middle between 4.
Right in the middle. So on the left side, I have 3x squared and 3x. What is my GCF? 3. What about your letters? X. All right. Once you have your GCF, we pull that out. We put parentheses so we can divide. What's 3x squared divided by 3x?
X.
Just x. 3x divided by 3x?
X. Wait.
What's 3 divided by 3? 1, and then x divided by x just cancel out. So we have positive 1. On the right side, what's my GCF? 4. So once you get your GCF, you're going to rewrite it so we can divide. 4x divided by 4?
1.
There's 1x, right? And what's 4 divided by 4? 1. Do I have matching parentheses?
1.
Yes. Because my parentheses are matching, I know I've done it right so far. So I have x plus 1. And then I'm going to make my GCFs the other factor. So that becomes 3x plus 4. It does not matter if you guys flip these around and have like 3x plus 4 first. That's okay. You can flip your factors if you want to. All good on this. All right, I want you guys to do number 3. All right, so once you swung your 8 to your -3, we needed two numbers that gave us what? -24, and then added to give us,
2.
what were my factors here?
2.
2 and 12? Did you confirm that in your calculator? 2 and 12 doesn't give me 2 if I add them. -4, +6. Yep, that works. You see a mistake, puzzler? If you use your calculator, make sure you're looking for that number at the very end of your table if you need a +2. All right, once I have my factors, I'm going to swing it back so I drop down. Let me get a different size. This 8x squared is going to drop down. And -3 drops down. What goes in the middle? -4x and +6x. You can have those flipped around if you want to. I always but most likely I always put my negative first, so I don't have to remember to pull it out of my GCF. So I always put -4 first, or the negative number. All right, from here, then divvy it up. I need a GCF of my left side. What could it be? What's the GCF between 8 and 4? Huh? GCF. It's just 4. Alright, and what about x squared and x? It's just x. Once I have my GCF, I pull that out separately so I can divide. What is 8x squared divided by 4x? 2x. And what about negative 4x divided by positive 4x? What's negative 4 divided by positive 4? Negative 1. My x's cancel out. Alright, the left side is done. Let's look at the right side. What is my GCF of 6 and 3? Just 3. So if I divide, what's 6x divided by 3?
2.
2 what? 2x, and then negative 3 divided by 3 is negative 1. Do I have matching parentheses? Yes, I know I've done it right so far. So my answer is 2x minus 1, and then 4x plus 3. Those are my GCS. Does this make sense how we're doing these problems?
Yeah.
All right. All right, what I want you guys to do is let's take a long weekend. Okay, so let's take a look at this. On number 7, I need to swing the 4 to the negative 8. So I need two numbers that multiply to give me what? Negative 8 times positive 4. Negative 32. And two numbers that add to give me negative 3. Put this in your calculator. Does anything come up? If so, what are my factors? I'm going to watch. Who's having trouble with the calculator portion? You guys are all getting it? All right, I'm going to just pick people. You guys see negative 3 in that last column? Okay, so no one sees it, right? So I don't have any factors. There's nothing that I could use. I could use like 1 and 12, all right, 1 and 32. 8 and 4. Something else. 2 and 16. Does that work?
2 and negative.
Yeah, but does anything possibly give me negative 3? No, so my answer is prime. If you do not have any factors, you can't do it. You can't factor without any factors. Just don't be that kid to write prime on everything. There's always one. It's not the case. It's probably going to be one prime versus everything else. Does that make sense? All right, moving on. Number 8. All right, you guys notice how now we have an equal sign? Okay? I want everything to the left of the equal sign. So what needs to move?
10.
The 10. So positive 10. So when I move it, it becomes what? It becomes negative 10. So I have 10x squared plus 15x minus 10. What goes after that equal sign now?
0.
0. All right, so before I factor it, do I have a GCS? I don't?
Yeah.
What is it? What goes into 10 and 15? 5. All right, that's important. So I'm going to factor out my GCF and I'm going to rewrite. So 10 divided by 5 is 2x squared. Be careful, you subtract it. Right, make sure you're dividing. So 10 divided by 5, I have 2, then x squared. 15 divided by 5 is 3. I'll just bring down my x. And then negative 10 divided by 5 is negative 2. All right, what I want you to do is I want you to circle your GCF because we don't need it right now. And I'm not on this page. Okay, so I need to swing this 2 to the negative 2. So I need two numbers that multiply to give me negative 4, and that adds to give me positive 3. Okay? We don't need our calculator for this, right? My factors of 4 are going to be 1 and 4 and 2 and 2. Which one could possibly give me 3? 1 and 4. What gets the negative here? The 1 or the 4?
1.
The 1. Negative 1 plus 4 gives me positive 3. Okay? So now, that's a long one. I'm going to rewrite my first term. So that becomes 2x squared. I rewrite my last term. What goes in the middle? Negative 1x and positive 4x. Okay? And I'm going to split right down the middle. Ignore number, I hope you guys have more room than this. If so, just write over number 9. We're not going to do that anyway. Alright. What is the GCF on my left side? One what? Well, what's the GCF between 2 and negative 1? It's negative 1, right? What about your x's? We have x squared and we have x. My GCF is just going to be x. Sometimes people like, you know how I was writing my GCF twice and then writing it a third time? Once you get the hang of it, you don't have to do it that much. We can just divide as long as you know what your GCF is. What's 2x squared divided by x? 2x. What about negative 1 divided by x? Negative 1, right? Just cancel out.
That's good.
Thank you.
Then we have 4x and negative 2. What is the GCF between 4 and 2? It's 2. And now let's divide. What's 4x divided by 2?
2x.
And what about negative 2 divided by 2? Negative 1. Do I have matching parentheses? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yep. So my answer is 2x minus 1 and x plus 2. But remember, it's still equal to 0, right? They're going to hate me for this problem. Because it's equal to 0, bring down your GCF from earlier. Because it's equal to 0, I have to make everything equal to 0. So I have 3 pieces here. I have 5 is equal to 0, 2x minus 1 is equal to 0, and then x plus 2 is equal to 0. And we're going to solve all of these. Because for your solution, you got to have some answers. Alright, does 5 ever equal 0? No, you don't have to solve anything there. What about 2x minus 1 is equal to 0?
Yeah.
How do I solve for x here?
Move one.
You're gonna add 1. So you have 2x is equal to 1, then what? Divide by 2. So what does x equal? 1 over 2, right? So one solution is x equals 1 over 2. What about this one? How do I solve for x? Subtract 2. So we're left with x equals negative 2. When it asks for solutions, you can leave it as x equals, or you can leave it as a point, like 1/2, 0, negative 2, 0. Those are the same things. Okay, it's a lot of work, right? You guys want to see the shortcut? All right. Let's do number 10. I know I wrote a little big, but let's do number 10. Let me see if I can. Are you getting a picture of it? I know. All right, so let's get number 10 in the correct form, because everything is not on the left side of the equal sign, right? So for number 10, if I move everything to the left side, we still have 2x squared, and negative 7x becomes what? What's the opposite sign? Positive 7x. Positive 15 becomes what? Negative 15, and then we're going to have equals 0. So write that down on your paper. All we did was we just put all my numbers on the left side. Yeah, we're not doing number 9. All right. Oh, I'm going to tell you guys to get your computers out. Get your computers out. Well, at least watch how to do this first. You have 2 minutes to spare. All right. Huh? It's 2:30. She's leaving early. All right, so go to Desmos. On your test, when it comes to grouping, you're going to have to show that you at least know how to group. But when we have the solving, you can use Desmos because it makes your life a whole lot simpler, okay? I don't need to see you guys do the grouping again. So let's type in, what was it, 2x squared? 2x squared plus 7x plus 15. Do you guys see it in the grid? So that means we have to zoom out a little bit. Oh, you know what? Oh, equals to 0. Wait, minus 15. There we go, minus 15. All right. Once you have this, do you see where we cross the x-axis? Those are your solutions. Your solutions are negative 50 and 1.50. Does that make sense? You can just type it in, you can get your solutions. Now, you can't do that for the whole, like this only works when when it asks for solutions, okay? When it says to solve by grouping, I really want to see that you know how to solve by grouping. But all this work that we just did, you can save yourself 10 minutes by using Desmos, okay? And let me double check if, I'm not even sure it matters how you type it in. I'm going to type it in just how they have it. 2x squared equals negative 7x plus 15. It doesn't matter. If you type it in just as it is, it still gives you the same solution. Okay? So I want you guys to do some practice problems. Joanna, your homework's going to be day 4 homework, okay? Let me make sure. If you want to do day 3 homework, that'll be extra credit, FYI, for everyone. Okay, so yeah, your homework's on that. So let's take a look at 11 through 16. I want you guys to do the odd ones. So do 11, 13, and 15. I'll put the answers on the board. Okay? When it says to factor by grouping, it's already, like on number 11, it's already set up for you, right? You don't have to figure out your factors. Because you have 4 terms, you just split them up. What's the GCF on the left side? It'll be x squared. GCF on the right side is going to be 5. When I divide, what do I get? What's x cubed divided by x squared? Just how many x's left over? Just 1. And then 3x squared divided by x squared is just positive 3. On the other side, 5, or my GCF is 5. In my parentheses, I have x plus 3. Do I have matching parentheses? Yes, so I know I'm doing it right. My answer is x plus 3, x squared plus 5. So this is the part that you are practicing. Actually, let's scratch that, okay? Because I think you had this in your homework assignment too. Let's go ahead and start working on our homework. The whole first page is where you can use Desmos, is equal to something. The back page is kind of like a mix of everything. I believe we have a quiz next class. Oh, I didn't put a quiz on here. We'll have like a small mini quiz next class on GCF and the stuff we did today. Okay. Any questions, guys? If you want to do homework 3, you can for extra credit.